Dr. Susan Trung has been caring for patients as an eye doctor for 20 plus years. She literally helps people to see 20/20. So she knows a thing or two about sight and vision. Sight is a function of your eyes, while vision is a function of your heart. In August 2014, when she lost a younger brother to cancer only 9 days after his diagnosis, she pivoted. Today, as a visionary strategist, she is passionate about inspiring all of you to live beyond 20/20 vision. Don't just merely exist. Wake up and truly live right here and right now. And now, your host, Dr. Susan Trung.
Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Susan Trung again. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And I'm going to tell you, I have a crazy special guest today, okay? This woman, she's always so busy. So to have a moment of her time is just super special. She is my sister, an amazing friend, a coach, a mentor, a world schooler, a super mom. Oh my God, the list can go on. And she is Miss Tammy Kling, and she is here today to give us some crazy insights, but you know, she's always got so much to share with us. So I am so excited to have her here today and for you, all of us, to learn quite a bit from her. So here's Miss Tammy Kling. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Susan. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Tammy is I've got a couple, well, I know quite a bit about Tammy, but I want her to share with you a bit. Tammy is a ghostwriter. She's CEO, founder of OnFire books. She is CEO, founder of an event known as The Conversation. She's a world schooler. But first and foremost, tell us, Tammy, you're helping me with my book, you and your team. OnFire Books. You're helping me with finishing up my books and getting it out and ready for first quarter, for spring of next year, 2021. So when people ask me, I'm looking for a publisher, I need help with my book. You're not a publisher. Who should I be sending to you when it comes to OnFire Books? Who can you help?
So my main mission and job for the last 15 years, you know, if you had to categorize it, is we equip world changers, and, you know, they just gravitate towards you. So what I really teach most people is, and I love the question, but I teach most people that if you choose world changers to work with, then you're going to elevate your network. So it's a great question, but a tough question. By world changer, I don't mean that you have to have an orphanage in Africa and be feeding starving children, but we've turned down 9 books this month alone. We probably will not take now one more book by the end of the year until 2021, because we really focus on just extreme clarity about who we want to work with. And we coach through that conversation, like you mentioned, we coach world changers to do the same, to really have extreme clarity. Don't just accept business to accept business, but have such clarity about what you want in life that you're not busy, and that you actually, because I may appear busy, but I really have a lot of clarity on where I spend my time, and that comes from intentionality. So it's a great question, but for us and for me, I teach live in your purpose first. And my purpose, you know, I wrote my first book 17 years ago. I got requests to be on all kinds of shows, Dateline, NBC, Oprah. It just wasn't my calling to be on stage, although I love changing lives and I did a TEDx. It just wasn't my calling. My purpose is to make sure that world changers like you have massive mass market appeal. And the best way I can do that is coach people, tell them the truth, make sure that truth is spread and not lies. You know, my main determination at heart is justice. I really want everyone to be out there changing lives with truth. And, you know, the world is crazy. So many people could be on stage and claim to be authors talking about vision, but you really get it. You really get the idea of vision and helping people because you've been down that path and you've been through that. So, you know, that's why we love you so much. So I'm focused on clarity and really helping world changers. I don't know if that was a good answer, but that's
yes. So for somebody who says, you know, I'm interested in writing a book and getting a book out, but prior to them really getting together and talking to you and your team is, again, just really have that just not focus, but hyper and laser focus, right? Have that clarity first.
Clarity first, because sometimes people will come to me and say, oh, I want to be on Oprah. And I'll say, well, why? Why? Because that's not the reason to write a book, is to be on Oprah. And then if they don't have an answer, I'll tell them, well, you don't need to write a book. If you want to change lives, that's the goal. But, or if you want to leave a legacy, that's the goal, right? And for us, like, you know, we have put so many people on our TEDx platform, on the TEDx stage, and you spoke there. And for me, words are currency. So we just want to make sure that whatever book it is, that lives are changed. And that's why it's so important for us to say no to tell-all books, or I don't care if it's a celebrity. I don't want to do a tell-all book. You know, I don't want to do a book that's all about, you know, gossip. And I want to do a book that's going to change lives. And that's, you know, so yes, clarity comes first. And, you know, a lot of people struggle with finding their purpose.
Yes. And oftentimes I'll say, whatever it is that people want to do. Oh, yeah. When I talk to young ones, high school students, and I'm asking them, so what do you want to do after high school? Where do you want to go? And they'll say, yeah, I want to do this, because I want to make big money. And I'm often telling people, whether you're high school or older, whatever, is don't be chasing the money. Is to chase your why. Because here's the saying I have. Your why needs to make you cry, or it's not your why. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Your why needs to make you cry, or it's not your why. So if that's something that's going to help you dig deeper as to gaining clarity, like Tammy had just mentioned, then dig. There's a lot of soul searching that needs to be done in terms of clarity, your purpose, living with intention, and figuring out your why. Soul searching, self-discovery, and we've got to dig pretty deep. Now, here's something else. Tammy is, you know, she's the coach to the coaches. She's coached celebrities. She's coached CEOs. She has done so much in her 15 plus years. But here's something really that I learned from Tammy that I was like, wow, I didn't know what that was, but now I know. Tammy is a world schooler. And if you don't understand what that means, I'm going to have Tammy explain it to you. Tammy, what is a world school? What's a world schooler, and what does that mean? And who are you, and why do you do it, please?
So World School is simply understanding that the world is your classroom. And now this is something that a lot of people struggle with, of course, because now everyone feels as if they're forced to school online. But for the last 17 years, you know, we've done World School, which is traveling the world with curriculum and realizing that we can be mobilepreneurs. This works really well with entrepreneurs that have kids. It never made sense to me ever to take a vacation on 1 week in March during spring break when everyone else in the world was taking a vacation. It just never made sense to me. So the other thing that didn't make sense to me is just not having the freedom to school your kids, you know, intrinsically with intrinsic desire, just based on who they are. So World School is a different type of curriculum where you're traveling when you want. It doesn't have to be, you know, constant. It doesn't have to be in an RV like you see some people doing. It doesn't have to be that, but you know, basically for entrepreneurs or parents that want more than just the 1 week a year, you know, on spring break travel, World School is the ability to really take your kids all over the world. So we equip parents and we help parents understand how to make that transition to be a mobilepreneur, really just not to be at the mercy of the concrete box classroom.
Yeah.
As you know, my child is in his last year of high school. He actually got a full scholarship to college, lots of money, and he started a year early.
Wow.
And ironically, he's been doing online college, even though he will go to college, but because of COVID, he's been doing online college at his #1 university pick, and he got $65,000 this year. So I thought, you know, at 17 in his last year of high school, when he's supposed to be a senior, why not let him enter college?
Yes.
Because everybody's doing it online anyways, right? And so
Exactly. Yeah. So if somebody wants to learn more about World Schooling, what it's all about, they can certainly contact you and your team, and you can guide them accordingly.
yes, or you can look up worldschool.com, but also please go to the World Changers Network on Facebook. We have a new show coming out. Susan's going to be a big part of it. And please go to the Conversation event. Our new show is all focused on really just how can we get not just kids, not just parents, but everyone engaged in serving others. And that's part of the conversation and the World Changers Network. So,
and here's the thing, and I appreciate you always. It's just, I cannot tell you, the older I get, it's all, I really don't care much for the term networking, right? Networking just, to me, it just screams, oh, speed dating. Let's do a quick,
Yes.
to me, it's build that relationship. And it is long term, and it is lifelong. And it's all about the relationship that we can build is the energy that we feel when we're around that individual or that group. And I can tell you how blessed I am to be able to be part of you and your team and what you build, whether it's on OnFire books or at the Conversation. And actually, it was the end of September. Tammy and her team had the Conversation in Dallas, and I attended it, and it was so much fun. So then I posted it on my Facebook, and people, they're very curious. They're like, Susan, what is this Conversation? Is this some kind of conference? And how can I, you know, if I want to attend, how can I be there? How can I get there? What is it all about? And Tammy will tell you it is the anti-conference. So Tammy, can you educate folks more out there about what is this Conversation? And if they're interested, it's like, if they want to attend and learn more.
Yes. So the Conversation, what happened after 15 years of interviewing CEOs for books, I realized that true world changers, whether they were the CEO of Pepsi or the CEO of a hunger organization, a nonprofit, true world changers really struggle a lot internally, because if they're a world changer, whether you're Warren Buffett or Steve Jobs or whoever it is, you don't think like most people. And so you're changing lives. You're just like when you're 8 hours a day with different people, you're expending all that energy teaching, leading, and listening. And then what happens is at the end of the day, your tank is sometimes empty. And I realized that world changers needed other world changers. They didn't need necessarily a therapist that wasn't going to really understand their issues. They needed other world changers that played at the same level. So we created the conversation to have conversation circles, as you know, where everyone comes together and to pick a topic. So one circle might be blind spots, right? The other might be legacy, and we rotate to these circles. But, you know, as you know, you've got a billionaire sitting next to an executive, sitting next to a homeless person, maybe somebody we scholarshiped, and you don't know who you're sitting next to because we do no name tags. It's all, it's not about what you do, it's about who you are, right?
Yes. Exactly.
So lots of lives have been changed. I think the best way someone could attend would be to join the conversation we're going to have in Florida in 2021, hosted by Susan, or certainly reach out to us, and then you can determine, you know, if it's a good fit.
Yes, and I appreciate that. And Tammy, I will tell you, I know how crazy busy you are. Tammy and her husband, and she has these two amazing boys. They are,
You're sweet.
Tammy said something. It's not about buying things.
No.
It's about buying experiences.
Yeah.
And Tammy and her family, they travel frequently, and they're going to different areas, different parts of the world. And again, the world is your classroom. The world is great education. And she's so busy, and they're in real estate. Okay, they enjoy real estate, and they're flipping and they're flipping. And they're just not flipping homes. I'm going to tell you, farms, and they're into Airbnb. It's and you know, she's not home right now. She's traveling, and she took time out to be with us today. So we just really, you know, again, Tammy can say, many people would say, "Oh, Susan, Tammy, you're so busy," and I'm like, listen, people, don't be busy just to be busy, but it's a very purposeful busy.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
There's a reason behind that busy. That
yes.
is how it is. So thank you so much, Tammy, for joining us, and thank you
for being a visionary. Really, anybody watching this or hearing this, if you have not pre-ordered Susan's book, don't just buy a book, but buy cases. And I don't get anything from saying that. I don't get any monetary benefit, but buy a case of her books and give them away. Just trust me on this. I've been working with great authors for 15 plus years, and really critical to change not only your life, but someone else's, because we all need inspiration, but truth. And that's the thing that you deliver better than anyone, is not just inspiration and fluff, but truth. I always say, oh, Susan's the next Anthony Robbins. She's the female Anthony Robbins. And Jermaine says, no, she's better than that. She's
I'm just kidding. Yeah, right. You know me well, Tammy. You and the team, you know me well. I don't fluff well.
Right.
I just shoot straight. Yeah. And yes, and it is speaking from the heart. I often say, you know, as an eye doctor, sure, sight is a function of the eyes, but vision, that's from your heart. That's totally, truly living from your heart.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know, the thing is, people deserve the truth. Like, nobody benefits from any passive aggressive delivery, you know, or inspiration. People deserve the truth. They do. And so when we can deliver the truth, like, hey, you need a pattern interrupt, or hey, you need to change your life, and it's going to start today. Get off your butt, or whatever it is. People need truth. And that's the way that you make really, really significant change. So I know this is the beginning of the best to come. I hope I can be on your show again in 2021, and we will knock it out of the park.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tammy, for your time. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Tammy.
Yes, you too. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Bye. And I hope you learned so much about the conversation World Schooling with me and Tammy Kling today. And again, you can go tammykling.com or the conversation event, or you can always find me, Dr. Susan Trong, at beyondyour2020vision.com. And I really appreciate you being here. And I'm going to tell you, go out there and be a freaking World Schooler. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.